Hey everybody, welcome back to Majestic Collectibles Irregular podcast. 3 in a row. I don't think I've ever done that before, so maybe I got to change the name. I don't know. We'll see. First off, I want to say thank you to everybody that watched the previous 2 podcasts. I've never had that good a response. Even my sister called me. Hi, Wendy. She called me and told me they were good. Still not 100% sure she was, wasn't pulling my leg, but she watched them. So that was really cool. Had a lot of really good feedback and comments on it. I did want to say something right up front, and I apologize. A couple of people said, "Wow, are you okay? You seem really depressed or angry or whatever." I am fine. I got to tell you, obviously the news, the sales were terrible. It was a terrible year, but overall, no, we're good. But I do appreciate the sentiment, especially in this day and age when I think actually worrying about somebody else is a rarity. So I apologize if that got anybody's radar up, but no, we're all good here. Just hunkered down in central Iowa. I think it's 14 degrees without the wind chill. Yikes. Yay. So this podcast is really just a follow-up on the previous 2. I had asked for people to give me ideas to talk about or things to comment on if they wanted me to expand on some things. And so that's what I've got, just a few little, snippets. I'm not sure what you want to call it. So we'll go ahead and start that. Again, I got my handy-dandy notebook. Nobody's going to, accuse me of being Steve in Blue's Clues, but I still got my handy-dandy notebook. So the first one I had, this is from a local buddy of mine, collector, customer, and so thank you, Mike. Silver Age Romance and Bronze Age Horror. He wanted to know what I was seeing out there in the market, because what he's seen is some really, really ridiculously high prices, basically. So for the Silver Age Romance, especially DC stuff, not unusual to see books VG-ish, maybe not even, 30, 40, 50 bucks or higher. And for Bronze Age, a lot of $15, $20 books for Bronze Age horror, especially Marvel horror, Bronze Age horror right now. And I am seeing that too. So it's not your imagination, Mike. And you go to a lot more shows than I do. I probably shouldn't admit that, but I know you go to a lot of them. Small ones, big ones, whatever. And you are absolutely right. They are just, I don't even know. So the romance titles, let's start with Silver Age. The Matt Baker stuff, the Atomic Age stuff, the St. John's publishing titles, Atlas, even if you can get them without brittleness, have always been good. During COVID, they shot up. A $400 Matt Baker book I sold one for $1,200. Okay, now they've come down since then. That same book is probably maybe half, $500-$600 book now. So they're still a little bit higher than when they started, but they really came off the cliff. I don't know why the DC stuff is being priced that high, because I am not seeing people buying that, not low grade. Now, if you got a VF, certain Good Girl cover, something like that, those sell. They always have, and they bring pretty good money. But your run-of-the-mill stuff has to be really, really super nice. And I am not seeing a lot of those comics, good to very good DC comics change hands at $30, $40, $50 a piece. Now, if you're out probably the East Coast and Southeast Atlantic coastal areas, you might be seeing this. So these prices might be a little more in line with what's out there. But here in the upper Midwest, I just haven't seen that. I've seen the prices. I haven't seen them sell. Same with the Bronze Age Marvel comics. Now, these really took off probably about 2 years ago. And what's interesting there is it's not necessarily your Frankenstein and your werewolf and your Dracula. It's your Tomb of Darkness. A lot of those reprint books where they reprinted the early Tales to Astonish stuff took off. The DC horror is pretty good and always has been. It's just really hard to find in higher grades. But anything with Neil Adams and Bernie Wrightson covers, and there's a few others, have always done well on DC. The Marvel thing's fairly recent. I've seen them back off on that, especially the reprint books. I'm not sure everybody realized that those were reprint books. But the non-reprint stuff, I think is still doing pretty good. Now, I'm thinking like a VF to, find a VF book at 15 for one of the non-reprint titles. Probably about right. That's probably about what the market's bringing. But if they're beat up, if they're lower grade, not so much. I think still a lot of those are $5 and under. They're not super duper hard to find, especially in lower grade. Now you get up into the VFs and the near mints. I think you're going to be $25 a book or higher. Pretty much any of them. If you can get them real ones. Not fine, very fines. But if it's a true VF or better, I think you're gonna pay some money to get a hold of them right now. Will that trend continue? And I think it probably will. The collectors have kind of moved on from the superhero books, and are they going to come back? I don't know, because most of the folks that are buying those silver bronze superheroes, they pretty much got them, other than the really high dollar keys, your AF-15s, your Spider-Man ones, your FF ones, your Avengers ones. Spidey 129's a book a lot of collectors don't have because of the cost. But the rest of it, I think a lot of people have picked up, at least to the point they're bargain hunting on the superhero books. And so I think that it's shifted a little bit. Gold Key, which is not in here, that wasn't part of the question, but it's something I mentioned before. Gold Key comics, those painted covers, Boris Karloff. Somebody mentioned to me, nobody reads these? They're terrible stories. Well, the art was terrible. The writing was mediocre. Whatever. But the covers are beautiful. Same with Space Family Robinson. Same with Tarzan, really, which is a much higher selling book than the others. But those have always been good. Fantastic Voyage. That Gold Key stuff. And then you get into the Scooby-Doo 1, of course, which is second only to Hulk 181 for Bronze Age value. That's Scooby 1. Most people don't realize that's the number two book. So that's a Spidey 129, right? So there is some shift there. Whether that's going to stay, I don't know. People aren't doing a lot with some of those titles. The Lost in Space, the Tarzan, it's all kind of old school. Phantom is another one that was really popular. Still is overseas, just not here in the U.S., but they do sell overseas a lot. So I think a lot of it is just people moving their dollars. They've got what they wanted out of superheroes. Whether that keeps going, I don't know. I think, without getting depressing and not trying to, but I think the economic outlook, right here in central Iowa, $10 would not get you a dozen eggs and a pound of butter. Now, once in a while they'll have a sale or something, but the eggs alone are over $6, and I know in some parts of the country they're higher. So you start paying that for your bread and butter stuff. Literally, I don't know. People are going to have to make some decisions. So I think your advanced collectors, the financially secure collectors, I think are going to be interested. Whether that's going to spread past that, I don't know. I doubt it. Would be my 2 cents worth. But we'll see what 2025 brings. So that's my input on those two. So somebody else asked me, and I didn't mention this really, but they must have seen one of my previous podcasts or whatever, or I said it somewhere. Maybe they caught me at a show, but they wanted to know about consignment auctions, because I sell on eBay, I sell at shows and flea markets, I sell at the antique mall, and then I consign things to one of the local consignment auctions. Now it's an online consignment, so it's not a live auction. It runs, I don't know, week, 10 days. I don't know. They just started one actually 2 days ago. I have to kind of check that out yet. and they weren't really specific. So I'm guessing they're referring to how well they did last year. And overall, I was very pleased with it. Now, it's not a high dollar thing. It's kind of stuff that is bulk, I guess. A lot of older comics and action figures, stuff. Nothing. I figure most of it probably goes to other flippers, to be flat out honest with you. But they do well. I haven't run all the numbers yet for those. It's kind of my bottom of my wonder about list, I guess, as far as sales go. But I would say they got very, very close to 2023 numbers. I really didn't see any massive drop. My antique mall booth at Brass Armadillo, I think I saw a 15% drop in total sales, which honestly, there's so much in flux at the antique mall booth. Things come in and out of vogue. You get different groups of people coming through. You never know who they are, traveling along the interstate and things. So I'm very pleased with that. I would consider that a wash. In other words, I probably did, more than reasonable on it. Again, not a big part of my sales, but I was pleased with it. So I have no issues there. And that's it. So if you want any more, I guess I'm not really sure what to answer about the consignment auctions. I guess I can add that it's action figures, comic books, movie posters, and then probably 90% of it's just miscellaneous stuff I don't necessarily deal with. It came from an estate, or if I bought a auction lot and I only wanted a few things out of it and stuff like that. So it's just a real kind of mishmash on stuff. But I was pleased, so I was happy with that. So I talked to Chad from Coley Collectibles today, and it's the 23rd, January 23rd, 2025. I'm not sure. You'll probably see this a day or two after that, but I'll get it up fairly quick. One of his, he saw the video, and after abusing me mercilessly, no, I'm just kidding. He doesn't. Well, he does do that, but not about the video. So the AI descriptions was something he kind of wanted my thoughts on, and he also threw in that the sales for the last couple 3 weeks have been really dismal, 1 or 2 packages a day. So I'm going to tackle. I want to tackle the dismal sales first, because that is starting to pop up on some online people that I watch, and things like, oh, my collar's out. Heaven forbid. Sorry about that. My sister's going to call. She liked my Godzilla shirt. Liked being not so much. But anyway, so the sales thing, they're obviously doing some type of upgrade, behind the scenes improvement. If you go to Down Detector, I haven't been there for a couple of days, but they've had a lot of reports of things not working since January 12th. So what is that, 11 days roughly? This happened to me last year from mid-March to basically August. Good 4 months, and this is what it was like for me, and I'm sure that's why my sales were off so much in 2024. And so what's going on, I don't know. I have no clue. So my only speculation on that is it's obviously big, because instead of affecting groups of servers, it seems to be affecting the whole pool for the most part, all over the country, United States anyway. Now my guess, and this is actually totally speculation. I got no proof. I haven't heard anything, but I don't feel it's a coincidence that they announced this Facebook mashup, and all of a sudden there's some really big behind the scenes changes with the website. Personally, I've experienced the website not being able to get in. I can't get into my eBay page. I can't always get to my listings. I've had trouble with pictures loading. I've had trouble with adding listings. It hasn't been super severe. It's been annoying, but I'm gonna have to click on things 3 or 4 times, or wait a minute, and then it seems to work, and then you'll list or whatever 3 or 4 things, then it kind of hangs up again, and so it hasn't been as smooth. But at least on my end, I really haven't had any severe issues. So, at this point, we'll just have to wait it out. I mean, we have no choice. But I'm guessing that there's some big change, site-wide or company-wide. And they do need to work on their tax. I've been harping on this for over 10 years, and that's not changed. If they do it right, I'm fine. I'm really my only gripe is if it was started in March and went to August, I probably would hurt me less, because right now from Christmas through first or middle of March is usually really, really good. That first quarter usually is equal to or a little bit better than my fourth quarter. So now that's stinging a little bit. So we'll see though. I mean, if they make some improvements, I'll be happy. Everybody will forget about it. So we'll keep our fingers crossed on that. So the last thing, this is the one that Chad, I think, mainly wanted to know. That was the AI descriptions for eBay listings. I do not use them. For my type of thing that I sell, if somebody's going in to look at a classic comic and pick it doesn't matter. The AI description usually gives you like the full history, artist, story, classic this, classic that. I don't think it's terribly effective. It's very wordy, a lot of word salad in there. Does not mention description, which is good because, they're all over the board, right? Depending on what each individual piece is. But people already know that. I wish there was tons and tons and tons of new collectors coming in to the markets I deal in, because then the AI description, I think, actually would be okay. It's still pretty wordy, but I think it'd be okay. But no, I don't use them, and I'll tell you right now, and this is going back, basically day one. Basically, within the first couple 3 years I was on eBay, this has been a massive issue. Most buyers don't look at the description of any way, shape, or form. The only time they look at it really is if there's a problem. If something comes and they notice that there's a flaw on it that they didn't notice in the pictures, and then they'll go back and see if, retroactively, if it was mentioned or if you could see it in the pictures. A lot of returns, a lot of just drama. Honestly, if people would just read the description, it could be avoided just a lot of issues. And if you look at my listings, one or two sentences, that's it. I try and take really good pictures. If somebody asks me for, say, the inside of a cover picture of a comic that maybe has some tanning around the edges, you want to see how severe it is, I got no problem with that. I take it and just put it on the listing and say, here you go, make up your own mind, and that seems to work really, really, really well. So I don't use them. Maybe someday, I don't know when. I think it's going to be a while, probably well after I'm not selling on eBay anymore. That whole word salad thing, A for effort, but no, nobody's going to sit there and read 2-3 paragraphs of saying the same 3 or 4 things 4 or 5 different ways. But they're going to keep work on it. It's not going anywhere. The AI thing isn't leaving. The AI, now you can do like titles. AI will help you with your titles and your listings. I don't do any of it. I have a formula, and I'm old. New tricks, old dog. Honestly, though, it works. As long as my stuff can get seen, if they can find it in the search and stuff, I don't have any issues, and I don't really want to experiment at this point with that type of thing, because I just don't think there's a lot of added value for it on the AI descriptions. And if you use them, I got no problem with it. I'm not I'm not railing against it. I think it's more effective. Boy, I don't know. Maybe more effective in other categories. Maybe clothing for one. I don't know. I'm not a clothing seller, but the way they do give the description, if you have the same item and multiple, multiple pieces of each item, I just think the effectiveness of that AI description probably be a little bit better, to be honest with you. But overall, is it necessary? Not until people start reading descriptions. I don't know. I mean, I shop on eBay too, and I've seen descriptions, and it's the same thing. Some sellers see pictures for condition, and I do use that, but I point out a flaw and then say see pictures. There's some damage here. See pictures for condition. So I point it out. And so they can go find it in the picture, right? But a lot of these are one sentence things that just says, see pictures as it, whatever it is. They don't even try. So I don't know. Until people start reading this stuff, I just don't think it's going to matter. So that's all I've got. Keep the ideas coming. Love to hear from you guys. The comments have been really good. I still need a ton of topics to blabber on about, I guess. So if you have anything else you want me to talk about or knowledge of or ask about, please do so, and I'll do my best. I can't answer everything, but I'll answer what I'm comfortable with and what I'm knowledgeable about, and that type of thing. So that's it, guys. Stay warm, stay safe, stay dry, stay out of the fires. I know it's been a wild winter out there for a lot of parts of the country, so be careful out there, guys, and thanks for watching.